I am concerned with the Doctor Who 60th anniversary. I am not concerned for RTD's plans for series 14 and 15. They look awesome and epic. And the casting of Ncuti Gatwa is also very exciting. So this is not a tangent about me not being happy about Ruby Sunday or the 15th Doctor. If indeed he is the 15th Doctor, I don't believe David Tennant is actually playing the Doctor. But I do have concerns about the 60th anniversary. When I compare the marketing for the 60th to the 50th, Moffat's marketing for the Day of the Doctor is so much more exciting and vibrant. And of course, myself and many of you as Doctor Who fans were concerned about Moffat's plans as Season 7 continued to broadcast in the calendar year of the 50th anniversary. We weren't hearing anything. It was concerning, but Moffat's already spoken about, quite honestly, how it was a scramble to get this person in, that person in. It was difficult. But ultimately, Stephen Moffat pulled off something that people said couldn't be pulled off. A brilliant Doctor Who movie, partially shot in 3D. A limited release in cinemas, which had huge hype, and a big day for Doctor Who on BBC TV. Stephen Moffat pulled it off. Then he pulled out the ace sleeve that nobody knew about of Sir Tom Baker. He's not officially Sir Tom Baker, but to us Doctor Who fans, he absolutely is. Stephen Moffat pulled off a very important anniversary. I think that Russell T Davies is a genius, and that's why I believe what he's doing with Series 14 and 15 will be absolutely fine. But when I see the marketing of the 60th anniversary, it seems very CBBC. And please let me know down in the comments what you think of this, if you agree or disagree. This is not a dictatorship. This is a democracy. You can think whatever you like as long as you're polite and respectful and constructive with your views. It does seem very CBBC, does seem very early noughties, and I don't like the split up of these episodes. I find that somewhat concerning. But the thing that really concerns me, and I'm a big fan of David Tennant before I dive into this, he's a great doctor, he's one of the best doctors, he's one of the best actors on the world stage, there's no question about it. But that duck has hunted, and bringing David Tennant to distract from the Chibnall era of Doctor Who for me personally is simply not going to work. As I've already said, I think Ruby Sunday is going to be great. Ncuti Gatwa will be a great 14th or 15th Doctor, whatever number he will actually be. I think actually that RTD, as I said earlier, is lying about Tennant being the 14th Doctor. I actually believe he is the new Master and Tennant will play a bigger role. And if that's the case, I'm fine with that. Very, very exciting. And I'm sure RTD will pull off the 60th anniversary, but that doesn't stop me from being concerned. I preferred the movie format of the Day of the Doctor. It was an event. It was climactic. Just some of the things I'm seeing, like recently, they're going to connect the 60th with other BBC shows. I don't really like this. I want Doctor Who to be its own thing and not a paragon of reality, if you like. It's a fantasy world, and linking it with other shows isn't something I really like. There's a lot of things they're doing where, look, I'm just not excited. That's the problem. I'm excited because I do rate RTD. I'm glad he's back. They brought him back out of desperation, but since the new show came back, it's the same people from the same French group, from the same country club. RTD, who pioneered what Doctor Who should be in the 21st century. Without him, Doctor Who wouldn't have been so brilliant for all those years. But we had RTD, we had Moffat, who was part of the same country club. I love Moffat. I think Moffat's a genius. Then Chibnall, back from the same country club. What would I have done to kind of do a 60th anniversary special? Here's the thing. We know the show was in trouble because of the Chibnall era. I am not the biggest fan of the Chibnall era. I believe it's underwhelming, boring, the pacing is dull, the production values were of course brilliant, the new HD camera format, everything. It was made really, really well and the locations were stunning. But he never gave his Doctor a personality, he never developed her character, and all the arcs that he gave her, he just kind of did them as a big hot take. Basically the timeless child, etc, etc. Everything he did, he just wanted to do it, then leave it alone. That's not what good storytellers do. If you don't want to give the Doctor an origin story like most Doctor Who fans don't, and most showrunners from that country club don't, right? Don't start giving the Doctor an origin story you can't delve into. So Chibnall created a big, fat, hot mess. But for me personally, booting Jodie to one side. Now, I'm not one of these extremists who's going to tell you Jodie was the greatest Doctor of all time, and she's absolutely brilliant, and I never had a problem with a female Doctor. Let's get that out there. I believe Russell T Davies, in a proper movie event, 60th anniversary special, could have done something really special with Jodie Whittaker's Doctor, and that's what should have happened. But it didn't happen, of course, because maybe Jodie didn't want to do that because of loyalty to her friend Chris Chibnall, and it would have looked bad if Chibnall wasn't writing her. But what they could have done was they could have officially said that RTD and Chibnall were writing the 60th anniversary together. Maybe they could have even got Moffat involved. That would have distracted from the fact that Chibnall wasn't running the 60th on his own. There was ways of spinning this, while meanwhile, in reality, it's RTD writing Jodie Whittaker's final adventure on a 60th anniversary special. It stinks of yesterday's garbage that Jodie isn't in the 60th anniversary, and I've already told you that I'm not a big fan of the Chibnall era. I feel bad for Jodie. She came in to be the first female Doctor, and Chris Chibnall came out as the ultimate sexist. He treated her differently because she was a woman. And that is sexism in its purest form. Why can't women be treated the same way as men? Just like RTD's and Moffat's Doctors had these great arcs and great themes and were grandiose, why couldn't a female Doctor as well? That's the question I'm asking Mr. Chibnall, because he's an extremist and this is how they think. They have their rules and regulations, how they should represent women. They have no clue how to represent women because they don't want to represent them like the men are represented. And as I say, that's sexism in its purest form. Jodie should have been the starring Doctor in the 60th anniversary special. And I don't care about Chris Chibnall's feelings. Russell T Davies should have come officially on board, and he could have made Jodie great. It would have been celebratory. She would have been on her way. She would have at the end regenerated into Ncuti Gatwa. It would have been perfect. But this idea of the first female Doctor being kicked to one side and one of the most popular Doctors coming back temporarily to save the show and distract from the underwhelming Dollars Dishwater Chibnall era just doesn't sit well with me. Jodie Whittaker should have been the Doctor. It doesn't work, everyone. You're bringing in a Doctor we haven't been following for a very long time. Something I've noticed with David, he's actually aged a lot. Now, you can't tell, but you can tell he's not the youthful person he once was. We all age. That's okay. I'm no spring chicken. I'm no oil painting. I admit that. But I would have had David, of course. We want David to be part of the 60th. He's one of the most popular Doctors, but as a cameo, as a sideline Doctor, and bring in as many as you want. It was rather odd that we got all those special appearances from Peter Davison and Colin Baker and Sylvester McCoy in The Power of the Doctor. Something you would have expected in a 60th anniversary special. It's like Chibnall was saying, I'll show you. I'll blunt your blade. And I think actually the cameos from McCoy, Davison and Colin Baker were really good. but they were 60th anniversary level appearances. It was very emotional. We had Tegan back, we had Ace back. Again, something I would expect in a 60th anniversary special, in an anniversary special. So that's one of the reasons, because I think because we've been following Jodie as the Doctor, whether you like her or not, it would have made sense for her to be the main Doctor. But switching her up concerns me a great deal. One of the things that worked about the Day of the Doctor, that Matt Smith, a Doctor that we've been following for 3 seasons, that we had gotten used to, even the people who thought maybe he wasn't right as the Doctor got used to him by the Day of the Doctor. He and Jenna Coleman, the greatest companion in the history of the revival, in my opinion, really worked well. And what they did with that episode was magnificent. It worked. But David Tennant wasn't the star of that. Basically, Matt Smith took centre stage. By just introducing a brand new 14th Doctor in the middle of this, it's a problem to me. You're asking the obvious question, why wasn't Ncuti Gatwa starring as the main Doctor from the beginning of these anniversary specials? Well, apparently it's scheduling. And that's also very problematic. Also, David not being in Jodie's costume is problematic. And Ncuti not being in Jodie's costume is problematic. That's one of the things I've loved about the new regeneration. Seeing the new actor dressed as the previous actor is part of the traditions of Doctor Who. I'm not a huge traditionalist. I'm quite happy for things to be changed and modernised. I loved what RTD did with the first revival episode. Rose, no issues there. But I think some traditions need to be kept because they're fun and they're recognisable. And it's very interesting that RTD said he didn't want a woman's clothes being made a mockery of. It's very, very interesting what he believes. You know, because if you're going to have a drag artist as a guest star, and I have nothing wrong, I have no issue with drag artists, talk about making a mockery of a woman's clothes. If you think it's okay for a guy to dress up as a woman, and I don't have any issue in terms of a drag act, what's wrong with David or Ncuti dressing in basically a long coat, a scarf, and trousers and a t-shirt? I don't get it. I don't get it. And all this is about, his mission was, RTD's mission was to make you forget about the Chibnall era. Publicly, he supports it. He supports the Timeless Child. But behind the scenes, him and Moffat fucking hated it. They must have done. And the mission with these 60th anniversary 3 episodes is to distract you from Jodie Whittaker and the Chibnall era. So I have major concerns about the 60th. It may end up all right, it may be okay, it probably will be okay, but I don't like the marketing. That's the core issue here. The marketing for the 60th isn't as exciting as the marketing for the 50th.